to come on in. We are going to get down to some business tonight as Smackdown just recently ended and we are getting ready for WWE Elimination Chamber, the next pay-per-view for the company on the road to WrestleMania. While I'm giving everybody a quick second to come on here, we are going to have a quick little chat with Sally Sausage here. Thank you. Hi. As we get ready, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sally Sausage and I for this week's WWE SmackDown post show. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania, guys. The Royal Rumble has already happened. We've got so much drama going on Raw, NXT, and SmackDown as we head towards WrestleMania. We had a star-studded lineup this week for SmackDown. We had Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Goldberg, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, love that guy, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and so much more going on this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm your host, Taylor Hendricks, and this is my WWE SmackDown post-show review, courtesy of WWE. As I love watching wrestling, I have dedicated so much of my life to pro wrestling, so getting to give back and give you guys the know-how from somebody that actually knows. This week, we kicked off WWE with some very interesting segments. I think WWE is definitely upping the ante when it comes to, hi everybody, when it comes to giving us some better backstage segments. I think they've done a much better job as of late with kind of getting rid of that fourth wall without making it too corny and insulting to adult WWE fans in the WWE universe. So job well done there. I also want to say that I really enjoy the pairing of Paul Heyman as my dog tries to make the great escape. With Roman Reigns. It is ingenious, and actually Paul Heyman is a very talented writer. In case you guys forgot or did not know, some of his stuff when he was writing for Liv Morgan were absolutely tremendous. It's just really awesome to see. So having yes, Tim, he definitely is a go. Seriously, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the writing room with like Paul Heyman, Vince Russo, and Bruce Pritchard. Because that would be a really fun room to be a fly on a wall in as they wrote, because at one point WWE was actually beating the NFL in ratings like 10 years ago or so. That is really crazy. As Sabrina just decided to come into my live stream real quick. We are definitely fans of Sabrina the Teenage Witch in my house with all my rescues. So we had some really interesting stuff today. As I was saying, I really enjoyed the segments going on this week. I was a little interested to see how much wrestling versus how many segments were going to be featured tonight on SmackDown. However, I will say that while there wasn't as much wrestling that I would have anticipated, I do seriously think that they definitely upped the ante on the backstage segments and on the drama as we're gearing up. We're like maybe a week away, if that, for the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So I am definitely stoked. They gave you guys a lot to Sally. Thank you. Thank you, little rugrat. My little sausage dogs. They gave you guys a lot to look forward to next week. You got a face-to-face with Goldberg. You got more stuff going on between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey as they are set to go off on each other at WrestleMania. You also have your Intercontinental title on the line as Shinsuke Nakamura goes up against Sami Zayn. Something that I really did enjoy that I wasn't sure if I would or not, but I actually did, was, guys, and I love Sami Zayn. I was in locker rooms with him when I was very young in the business. And so when I can see him just living his best life, living his dream, it is awesome. Like, he has all the energy, like I said on Twitter. And I just love that. When you can like support somebody who you can clearly tell is living their dream, it is awesome. It is so cool. So getting to see that segment, it definitely had like a shoot podcast vibe. Like, tell me if you guys felt the same way. I thought that was very cool for WWE programming, because it kind of gives something a little bit more exciting for adult fans in the WWE universe. And to me, that's really cool, because if you're a casual person that's not necessarily in the WWE universe flipping through the channels, you're gonna be like, what is this? These guys look intense. They're on these microphones. Is this like a live, like, podcast with this giant huge crowd. Like, it sounds cool. So this was actually really, really good. It felt like a shoot podcast to me. And who doesn't love Shinsuke Nakamura? Like, that guy, I've been in locker rooms with him as well. He is so awesome. He has amazing energy, just a great person to be around in the locker room. Really, really awesome. So seeing these two guys in a storyline together just makes my heart so happy. I think that they're going to have great chemistry in the ring. I think the Intercontinental match is going to be on fire. So exciting. And speaking of straight fire, can we talk about the go of the team? Like I said earlier, that is Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. That sit down interview, I'm a huge fan of sit down interviews. I think they are a great segue for storytelling. They're good at storytelling because they're not a complete departure from what's going on. And it's a really interesting way to see, different characters unfold. We kind of see this a lot on Raw with Alexa Bliss and her therapy sessions. Well, this was kind of like a different take of that, so it's not too repetitive. And Roman Reigns has seriously upped his promo skills. Like, he has just been on fire for the last like 2 years. And it is so cool because I remember being at the Royal Rumble. I was an extra for the Rosebud stint at the Royal Rumble where The Rock came out after Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. I think it was in Pennsylvania that year. Whatever WWE Royal Rumble that was, I was there. I was in it. Like, as a Rosebud, and I remember people booing him out of the arena. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Yeah, I remember just everybody booing Roman Reigns out of the arena. They were like, "We don't want you. Stop shoving him down our throats." Yeah! Like, it was crazy. And then The Rock comes out, and then they start booing The Rock because The Rock is trying to like stick up for Roman Reigns on the mic. And I just remember The Rock being something to the effect of, "Hey, don't boo The Rock." It was crazy. So think about that moment. I had a front seat too. That moment to today, you see so much growth. You see so much passion coming through in Roman Reigns. It is tremendous. It is so cool to see somebody that was not originally on the path to be a WWE superstar really just envelope and really just develop into one of the best stars in their program. That's so cool because that takes a lot of passion, dedication, tenacity. You There's so much honing of the craft that has gone into Roman Reigns over the last couple of years. It's just truly amazing. Oh, thank you for saying I'm a goat. Yay! Meh. I don't know. Just kidding. So to me, I have so much respect for Roman Reigns because he has been on a crazy journey from everybody hating his guts, from him leaving Shield to now look at him. Now they're loving to hate him and they're hating to not love him. Like, that is so awesome. That shows like somebody saw something in Roman Reigns and it paid off. Just like with Mark Henry, who helped discover Bianca Belair, that paid off. He helped discover Jade Cargill, that's paying off. Sometimes you just want to be that person that has that eye for talent. And whoever found Roman Reigns, they really did find a talent because look at him now. His interview today with the sit down interview on SmackDown was tremendous. Like, tribal chief, head of the table, whichever way you know him, he is one of the best parts of WWE programming, and he is building such a trust equity with the WWE universe that you trust that he will have a great match. I mean, he was the opening match kicking off the show with Seth Rollins at the WWE Royal Rumble. I mean, that if that ain't trust equity to be main event, opening match, no matter what you're excelling, that is phenomenal, once in a lifetime talent. And I do not say that lightly. I say that out of respect. He earned my respect like 100 times over. It's just a tremendous. And this was a really great addition to the setup and the card for SmackDown tonight. Now, it makes me want to even more, I want to see the face off between him and Goldberg. I've always been a big fan of Goldberg. I always like his vibe. He always kind of didn't play into the wrestling politics. He didn't play into the wrestling games backstage. He kept to himself. He did his job, stuck to what he was good at, was true to himself. And I like that. I like that sort of energy. It takes a lot of gumption to be that comfortable in your own skin in an environment that's a lot of times, depending on who you ask, it's equated to a giant shark tank. And you're like a bleeding swimmer in a shark tank hoping to not get eaten. That's kind of like a really good analogy for the pro wrestling wrestling business. So for him to have that much gumption as a person, to hold his head high and to be that comfortable in his own skin, to me, that is awesome. I also want to shed some respect, like put some respect on that too, just a little bit. And what I also took away from this episode of SmackDown was the ladies absolutely killed it. I don't know if you guys were following my live tweeting. I tried to live tweet as much as possible. I felt like such a nutcase because I was at the gym doing my workout. I'm live tweeting SmackDown and watching SmackDown all at the same time. Like that must have been a sight. But you know, you got to do what you've got to do, right? Especially when you love what you do and you have so much passion and knowledge and you want to share that. So that's why I was super stoked to come on here with you guys for YouTube Live today. The ladies killed it. From the segment with Sonya Deville, she was really stirring that pot. I mean, she's been so good in this role. I love her and Adam Pearce. I will always love Adam Pearce because, you know, he gave me my first opportunity at Ring of Honor when I was still the One Girl Revolution. You know, so I just love that. I love seeing him get to live his best life for him and his family as well. There's so many people on SmackDown that are living their best lives. Like SmackDown has such a great, authentic energy. It's really, I want it to be more contagious than what it is because it's a really good energy. I think the world needs more of that, and especially sports entertainment, because some of y'all can be kind of toxic on Twitter. Not gonna lie. So, you know, if you're a fan of the WWE universe, if you're a fan of AEW Rampage happening right now, it's okay. Just like your different flavors of ice cream, you know, you don't gotta hate. Just appreciate. You know, so ladies absolutely killed it. Natty and Aaliyah, I'm excited to finally see things happening for Aaliyah because I was a little bit concerned with a lot of the WWE releases. I was concerned that she was going to be getting released because she has spent so much time at NXT. So it's really, really cool to see her kind of getting to start to come into her own now on the main roster. She's been seen in stuff with, you know, with Sasha and with Natty and just a lot of really good stuff happening right now. And I think that's really going to build her for the future. I have no doubts that Britt Baker killed it tonight. Thank you for saying that. So I like to see people succeed. And so that's why I have absolutely zero problem cheering for other people. You know, like, put some respect out there. You know, other people's success does not mean less success for anybody else. That just means more opportunities for more people to succeed. Because if everybody was just doing terrible, those opportunities would stop. So you have to cheer for people who are doing a good job. You know, if the first time women main evented, okay, on a WWE program, if they flopped, if they did terrible, do you honestly think women would get another opportunity anytime after that? Probably not. You know, so, you know, it's progress. Cheer for it. Success is not a pie. And so tonight I was so excited to see all the ladies that were on this card absolutely kill it, because that means there's going to be more opportunities for more men and women going forward. The more people kill it on a program and excel, the more opportunities for more dreamers to be able to get their dream jobs at WWE and more WWE Universe fans. And that's amazing. The segment today was super awesome. I just love what Sonya Deville's doing. She is getting everybody to hate her. It is tremendous. That is money. That's like Miz money right there. Like Miz doesn't have to do anything and people hate him. That is money. That is charisma. That slap from Naomi was crisp. I mean, boom. Gotta love it. Got to love it. I tell you, I am still partially deaf from like this time that a slap got wrong and somebody cupped me in the ear. That was terrible. But Naomi, man, hers was so crisp. Got Sonya in the exact right spot you wanted in. It was money. The camera angle was absolutely perfect. You know, sometimes there's too many switches and it makes you kind of feel sick. Today it was on point. And then you also had Natty versus Aaliyah, like I was saying earlier. I like to kind of get off track a little bit sometimes when more people are coming into the chat so they can kind of get a more well-rounded view of what's going on this YouTube live. I have so much respect for Natty. I came across Natty backstage a bunch of times. She actually gave me a compliment on my match with Sumi Sakai for Women of Honor Sumi versus Taylor Hendricks and Lowell. She actually told me that she really enjoyed that match and thought I played a great heel in that match. So that meant a lot to me. I actually never forgot that. She told me that like the one of the last times I was at WWE. So that was really, really cool. Like to me, she's totally Hall of Famer. She is, you know, a workhorse for any division that she's in. She can make anybody look good. She has such a great attitude, a really bubbly, genuine person. I love that. I love to see that. I love to feel that energy. I love to be supported by that energy. Energy to me is, you know, so important because, you know, the wrong vibe can bring down the car. The wrong vibe can bring down the locker room and can bring down your day and your life. It's very easy to tear somebody down. It's not as easy to build somebody back up after that. So be the person that builds somebody up, not tear somebody down. That's the lesson in this. And that's Natty. Natty is somebody who genuinely builds other people up with her expertise. And therefore, in doing so, she also makes herself look good, whether she's losing or she's winning. She does a great job. And sometimes you have to lose in order to learn how to win. I learned that very early on in my career, and that's a lesson I took to heart. And so I never really found it extremely insulting when I would lose, because if I made somebody else look good, then I indirectly win. It's all about perspective, mindset. Bring people up, don't tear them down. Some of the promos tonight were on point. Like I said, that Shoot podcast had some vibes that I really want to see more of on SmackDown. And then you had this really awesome tag team match. And when you speak of energy, they had so much chemistry in this tag match. You had Big E and Kofi Kingston, Big E and Kofi, versus Los Lotharios, or as WWE put it, the Lethal Lovers. As soon as I saw that tweet, I was like, oh boy. You know when you can like hear a GIF? Like you like there's like somebody will put a GIF and you can hear it even though there's no sound. You're just like, I can hear this. Well, as soon as they put that tweet out, I was like, oh, I can hear the thirst coming in from the WWE universe. That was immediately my thought when I saw that tweet. But regardless, those four men have so much awesome, admirable, money worthy, like they're so innately talented. Their intrinsic value on the WWE roster is almost bar none. Almost bar none. Their chemistry was flawless. They were doing some amazing stuff. There was great action, really great pops, really great stuff. And I don't like to use that word too much. I feel like it's overused. So when I do say it, there was a good pop, I definitely mean it. Live crowd is everything. Let's not ever lose a live crowd ever again. Overall, that was a really solid match for SmackDown. I loved it. You guys know I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling. I always have been ever since I was a little kid watching wrestling. To me, it was really great. All four of those men worked their ass off, so it was really great. I haven't read the Fightful article yet, but they mentioned that Vince McMahon had reasons for breaking up New Day, and to give Big E a solo run, and basing it off of he felt that, you know, a babyface getting a solo run should be on his own, and he also had reasons for bringing the group back together. So I'm interested to read that article to find out what Vince McMahon's thought process was for that. That will be on Fightful.com. They posted it earlier today because I'm very curious, because I think Big E had said within the last couple months that he did not want to make the same mistake that Kofi did after Kofi's single run and then coming back to New Day. So I'm very curious to see the dynamic of this and how this is all going to play out in the grand scheme of things on the road to WrestleMania. Very curious. In the end, though, they suffered the loss. They got the L, and Los Lotharios got the W. They got the win, which is very interesting. They're obviously going to start getting a push, I would assume. But yeah, the thirst was so real. You could just see it in the comments. Really good match. Exactly what you want to see on SmackDown. I was very curious. Like, Sasha Banks was a little silent on the episode. I was waiting. I was like, I'm ready for her to pop off. Like, where is she? Like, I want that Boston boss energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, to think about how far her and I both have come since we wrestled each other as like young green girls in the business is just insane. Like, we weren't Taylor Hendricks and Sasha Banks yet. So it's really cool to appreciate the journey and the ride of each person who comes into their fullest potential as superstars in whatever they choose. Like, that, to me, that's amazing. So I really wanted to see Sasha Banks tonight. So I was very kind of let down by that. I think that was one of my biggest gripes about the show tonight, was no Sasha Banks, especially because of how early she was eliminated in the WWE Royal Rumble. So I'm like, what's going on with that, you know? Like, but I digress. We got to keep it positive. I also really enjoyed the women's main event. And no, I am not purposely skipping Happy Corbin for anybody that's interested. I just don't have a lot to say on that because I feel like there's other things that Cesaro could be doing. Like I said on Twitter, he has some of the seriously, guys, some of the best European uppercuts that I have ever seen in all of pro wrestling. Much to my own chagrin, I've tried so hard to perfect my own European uppercuts. That's not something that women do in wrestling all that often. So I want to pull one of those out, just a really good, crisp European uppercut and make the person sell it like death. It would be so amazing. But yeah, so I feel like there's other stuff that Cesaro could be doing right now. But I do love Baron Corbin. He was always really awesome to me backstage at WWE. So I definitely have a lot of respect for him as well. Especially because I was a nobody and he was very respectful, very nice, very helpful. So I like that. You know what I mean? I like that energy, not to be repetitive. But it's nice. It's nice when I can tell you guys, hey, this person's really nice. This person's like a really good, genuinely good person. I like being able to tell people that and it be honest, and sincere. So then we had the main event. The ladies killed it as the main event. I loved this for Naomi. The SmackDown brand is legit the brand where she has had the most success in her career. Having her go up against the current WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, the Opportunity Charlotte Flair, is a really good spot for Naomi on the road to WrestleMania, especially with one more spot for the WWE Elimination Chamber for the women. This was really good for Naomi. Now, she didn't get the win, I think much to her own chagrin and dismay and disappointment, but she definitely earned it. She did an awesome slingshot corkscrew crossbody to the outside onto Charlotte, and it was fantastic. I found zero fault with it. The setup was awesome. Charlotte Flair's selling was impeccable. She got there right at the right time without like standing there looking stupid. That's one of my biggest gripes in wrestling. Like, don't stand there and insult fans by waiting for your spot. I can't stand that. I've always been trained to make yourself look busy even if you're doing nothing. Even if you were doing nothing, do not make yourself look stupid by going duh, and waiting for a spot. Charlotte Flair did a great job of making herself sell and look busy, waiting for that corkscrew from Naomi to come down for the crossbody. Because Naomi did an amazing full rotation on it. It looked crisp. It was, guys, zero fault with it. It was amazing. I was so on fire with it. It was and it was just so great to see the women be the main event on the WWE programming. I loved that. And they did such a great job. I think from the beginning of the show to the end, it told a really great story because it pretty much started with the women in the segment and it ended with the women. And you had really great stuff from Roman Reigns and the men's roster all in between. What a great way to get you guys jazzed about next Friday night SmackDown. I think after watching some of this stuff, you are going to be looking forward to SmackDown because you're going to want to see that Goldberg face-to-face with Roman Reigns. You're going to want to see the Intercontinental Championship title match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. And by the way, is 2022 weird or what? Because like we've had a rough couple years already, and then 22 is like, hold my beer. Let's throw Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Like, who saw that coming? I sure did not have that on my bingo card, okay? But it's kind of the crossover I needed. Like, it's so entertaining. I love Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. I am loving this so much. I love it. It's so funny to me. Oh, I love it. So you're going to have that Intercontinental Championship title match. You're going to have more from Ronda Rousey. I'm sure this is not the last we've heard from Charlotte Flair as your SmackDown Women's Championship. It's going to be awesome. So definitely let me know, guys, what you guys thought of tonight's episode of SmackDown. We have a couple minutes before we hit the 25-minute mark for this YouTube live video. I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are as well, as we have more people entering in the chat right now for this YouTube live video. What did you guys, if you guys could rate it, from 0 to 10, 10 being the best, 0 being the worst episode you've ever seen, which we all know it's not, so don't be dramatic. What would you rate it? And did this episode make you any more excited for the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up? Let me know. All right, so Tim Drake, you say it is a 7. What about anybody else? What would you guys, hi, hello. What would you guys rate it? I would definitely give it, I think I agree with Tim. I would also give this episode a 7. You had some really good backstage segments that were not insulting. They were actually very entertaining. I really enjoyed a lot of the departures and a lot of the ways they chose to continue the storyline. Santana Fullard also gives it a 7 out of 10. To me, I thought this was a very solid episode. Okay, we've got an 8. King Jordan. All right. WWE Universe in the house. All right. Let's keep it going, guys. If you could rate tonight's episode of WWE Smackdown a 0 to 10, 0 being the worst, which we know it wasn't, and 10, what would you rate it? And did tonight's episode of WWE Smackdown make you any more excited for the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up? I think it's legit like 7 or 8 days away. We have some people right now talking about Charlotte Flair getting booed. Guys, you don't got to be sad about that. That's her job. She's supposed to be getting booed. And not just, oh, I have to act angry because I'm a heel. I hate that. It's like, that's so corny. That's so 1980s. Like, I love the 1980s, but we're not in that era anymore. You know? You would say a negative 800 out of 5. I don't know what that means, Death Adder. You're gonna have to explain that to me. And yes, the other person that said Impact is on the 19th. Yes, you are right. Impact Wrestling has No Surrender on February 19th. And then WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is going to be happening on the 19th and then streamed on Peacock, I believe. And anybody that has the WWE Network, the rest of the world on the 20th. I think that's the setup happening. I think that we can expect some really cool things going on in Elimination Chamber. We got Brock Lesnar coming back this coming week. What else do we have? Let me see here. We've got our face-to-face next week. We've got the Intercontinental title happening next week. We've got so much stuff happening next week for SmackDown. And I believe Brock Lesnar is going to be live on Raw as well, leading up to Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Let me guys know what you guys thought. I overall thought this was definitely a solid 7. And somebody was laughing at my joke about, I'm a heel, so I gotta be angry. Yes, you're right, Xavier Jackson. That is more like the 1970s. All right, we got somebody saying a 6 out of 10. All right, I respect that. That's cool. I really enjoy feedback. Sally Sausage wanted to give her feedback as well. And thank you. She just came up here to burp. All right, somebody wants Rhea Ripley too. Oh my gosh, your ears are all wet. Where were you? Oh my goodness. In case anybody does not know, I work with a lot of rescue animals and I adopt rescue animals. So this is Sally's Sausage. It's one of the many things that Taylor Hendricks does in her spare time. All things Taylor, including this YouTube live video. I want to thank you all so much for joining in tonight and giving me your feedback and your reviews. Dion Mitchell coming in for the save with a 10 out of 10 for tonight's WWE Smackdown episode. Oh, we got Matthew Barnes with an 8 out of 10. So you guys had some really pretty darn good feels. We've been rating between 5 and 6 out of 10. So that's really, really awesome. I like seeing some good support for pro wrestling, whether you like AEW, Impact Wrestling, WWE, NWA, AAA, CMLL, New Japan, like whatever it is, just like what you like, you know, you gotta appreciate. There's so many different flavors of wrestling. I just say support the good people in wrestling and support the good that's happening in wrestling and kind of just enjoy what you enjoy. You know, the more that you support, the more money companies make, and the more companies they make that make the money, the more jobs there are, and the more jobs means the more opportunities for dreamers to succeed and get the opportunity to achieve their wildest childhood dreams. And what's not great about that, right? All right, guys, thank you guys so much again. I cannot thank you guys enough for joining me as I start this brand new venture of doing some of these YouTube live videos with you guys for WWE events. Definitely check me out for Monday Night Raw coming up on Monday. And I will also try my best to also get my streaming to work because it kind of cut out a lot during the Royal Rumble. So I'm also going to try to do a post-show review for WWE's Elimination Chamber as well. Until next time, everybody, be sure to check out out other videos on my YouTube channel, All Things Taylor. I've got lots of news for you about Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming to Netflix on the 18th, so just ahead of both Impact Wrestling and WWE pay-per-views. Stuff going on in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to talk to you guys about the revenue coming in from Jackass Forever and exactly how much it beats Spider-Man No Way Home in its opening box office weekend. All that and so much more on my YouTube channel, All Things Taylor. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode from me, Taylor Hendricks, from Somebody That Knows. Have a good night, everybody.